Give You the Hot Sauce. Episode 22 of Stacey King's Gimme the Hot Sauce. That unmistakable music tells you it's time to have some fun and lots of laughs coming up on the show. This is episode number 22. Think about some great number 22s in sports history. The NFL's all-time leading rusher, Emmitt Smith. How about some baseball players? Clayton Kershaw, Jim Palmer. And for football, Bob Hayes, the great Dallas Cowboys. Right? Bullet Bob Hayes, yeah. And from the world of basketball, Elgin Baylor, who recently passed away, and Clyde Drexler, of course, went up against Stacey's Bulls in the 1992 NBA Finals. That's right, Spider Sally. Yeah, so welcome into the show. We're going to have a lot of fun today. We got some special treats in store. Want to thank our great sponsors at Bubble Up. Bubble Up is the cloud reimagined. It is the new way to visually organize any kind of content all in one place, and John is always displaying the great swag.
And we needed that Bubble Up full of, this week. We got a lot of changes.
This show was moving in a lot of directions.
A lot of changes moving in there.
And we had to keep track of everything that happened last week with the NBA trade deadline, and the Bulls are one of the big movers and shakers. And Stacey, Bulls are getting great reviews for the moves they made. They swung big. Forget about trying to hoard draft picks and cap space. They traded in 2 first-round draft picks, along with Wendell Carter Jr. and Otto Porter, for Nikola Vucevic, a 2-time All-Star. He is going to bring a whole new dimension to this team.
I tell you what, AK and Mark Eversley have hit home runs since they've been here. They're not hitting singles. They're not flying out to the
swinging
warning
for the
track.
fences.
They're going for home runs. So another home run, you pick up an all-star, and as you know in this league, all-stars wins games. Everybody's trying to pair up. Everybody's trying to get on teams with other great players, and, great players attract other great players. And so it's an opportunity for, the Bulls to be able to get a second all-star, take some pressure off of Zach. So now you got 2 all-stars on your roster, inside-outside duo. You got an opportunity to, not just for this year, but the coming years, for people to say, hey, man, Chicago's doing something special there. Their front office is pretty good. They're trying to win. They've got 2 all-stars. I'm looking at this situation now. Let's say like a Chris Paul, using him as an example. Like, hey, man, look, they got nice talent there. I can see myself going to Chicago. They need a point guard. Go there and play and come out of the Eastern Conference. Because as you know, the Eastern Conference is top-heavy right now. There's like 3 or 4 teams, and then the rest is like pretty much everybody else is on that same level. You've got, Philadelphia, Brooklyn are the 2 best teams, with Milwaukee probably being that 3rd team. And then I would probably say Miami would be that 4th team. So those 4 teams are, the upper echelon of the Eastern Conference. Everybody else is pretty much on the same level as far as, their rosters and what they're trying to do.
This was the most active trade deadline in 35 years. We had 46 players, 23 teams involved. And one of the reasons why teams don't normally like to make big trades at midseason is because it's hard to work in new players into your offensive and defensive systems when you have very few practices, especially now in this COVID-affected year, and you can't really get the guys indoctrinated. And the worst thing for the Bulls is they're right in the middle of their toughest road trip of the season. So I think people that are seeing the first couple of games and wondering, hey, what's going on? It's going to take a little while to get these guys ingrained, but once they're there, I think it's going to be pretty exciting to watch.
Well, it's a whole overhaul of a roster. I mean, if you think about it, you lose Wendell Carter, Daniel Gafford, Otto Porter, all rotational guys. And then you bring in Daniel Tice. You bring in, Vucevic. You bring in
Troy Brown,
Javonte Green. So you got a whole new roster. And so, you've got there's no practice time, as you said. This is more of a move. Of course the Bulls want to win now. Yeah. It's evident what they did. They want to win now and get to the playoffs. But this is also a long-term move. This is a next year move, the year after move. Again, you go out and get an all-star. You swing for the fences. Everybody values those first round picks. We had a vault full of them. So it was great to see. AK and Mark, say, hey, look, we had a fair evaluation the first 40-something games of what we had here. None of these guys were their players. Patrick Williams is the only one that they drafted. So there's loyalty to him because that's their draft pick. But everybody else is on a make-good situation. I don't even think, to be honest with you, I can't speak for them, But I don't know if they thought that highly of Zach Rose to begin. I mean, not Zach Rose, but I mean, Zach LaVine.
Zach Rose would be a pretty good player.
Yeah, that's a kid that played baseball for me. So I don't know if they thought as highly of Zach LaVine. They probably respected him as his scoring and everything, but I don't know if they looked at him as a long-term thing. And I think Zach had to prove that to him with his play. I mean, he made the All-Star team. He shows that he is a number one guy. He's a guy that you can build around. And you can see now evident that's what they're doing. They're building around him. And, a guy like Lowry, who didn't sign, they didn't get him signed. He's going to be a restricted free agent. Now he's in a tough situation now because they've wanted you to be the number two guy. Billy Donovan wanted you to be the number two guy, but you never took that mantle and took that. You were more, you have up and down games. He's having a great year, but he's had some up and down games, not consistently being that number two guy that they need. So they went out and got a number two guy, really a 1A guy.
Yeah, now Billy moved Lowry to the bench because he didn't want to have Vucevic and Lowry playing together, so he tried to mix up offense and defense. Didn't work that well against Golden State, but it's probably something he's going to stick with for a while. There were a lot of reports that AK and Mark Eversley were talking with the New Orleans Pelicans about a deal that could have involved Lowry Markkanen going to New Orleans to bring back Lonzo Ball, and those talks could be revisited in the summer because it's no secret the Bulls would like to upgrade at point guard, get a more traditional two-way point guard who can help you on offense and defense.
Well, there's going to be a surplus of guards out on the market this summer, so they're going to have an opportunity. I mean, would you like to have Lonzo Ball? Yes. I think it's a no-brainer. He's a young kid, under 25 years old. He's shown the ability to lead a team. He's a pass first, pass second point guard. So, yeah, of course you'd want to get him to implement him with this younger team. I think he'd make your team better. But there's going to be a surplus of point guards out there. I think the big key is not overpaying for someone, getting yourself in that situation because, at the end of the day, that's what you're looking at. I mean, you're looking at trying to be able to keep your roster, trying to keep it competitive, and, if you got the money to spend to go out and get a quality point guard, because I'm a big Lonzo Ball fan. If they can swing that deal in a sign and trade, because both him and Lowry are restricted free agents, so you could do a sign and trade possibly. But I trust AK and Mark. You know what? They know what they're doing. So whatever they do, I'm 100% behind it. I'm just the man sitting next to the man sitting next to the man.
Yeah, they're playing chess while the rest of the league is playing checkers.
Exactly.
We like to see that with the front office. There are going to be some guys available in free agency. Do you see Dennis Schroeder turn down an extension offer from the Lakers? He'd look nice on this team, but he looks like he's looking for big dollars.
Well, was it 4 years, $84 million?
Yeah, he said no.
On a
I'd like to say no to that guy.
on a championship caliber team, playing with LeBron James.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants a bigger role. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he wants to be his team, because the last few years he's been coming off the bench in Oklahoma City. He started in Atlanta. He was a starter, and he came off the bench early in Atlanta, and then he became a starter. Maybe he wants to be a starter. Maybe he wants to have a team. So that's why he turned down. That's a lot of money. I mean, I don't know if I'm turning down 4 years, $84 million, and he's still young too. It's not like he's 30 years old. I mean, he's still a young guard. So, woo.
He gets the money and he gets to play on a championship team.
Yeah,
I mean, turn that down.
I mean,
some guys want to be the man, though.
Some guys don't think about the ring, and it's a prime example. Like, you see a young kid like that passing up the money to play on a championship caliber team for a bigger role. But then you see veteran players that are going to teams to try to win a championship now. They're going to pass up on the money because, you got Blake Griffin, you got, Drummond, you've got LaMarcus Aldridge. Those guys have given up, the money per se to, I want to win a ring now. I've made all the money I want, and I'll probably end up getting it again if I decide to leave this situation. But for right now, I'm chasing rings. And so it's kind of what Brooklyn is doing. Woo, my goodness.
Well, do you think maybe if Lonzo Ball comes to, if there's a trade, you think maybe he's thinking New Orleans? I mean, where do you think he could land, Schroeder?
Oh, Schroeder, well, he's going to be an unrestricted free agent, so he can go wherever he wants.
But where do you think, who's going to offer him more?
Well, if he gets a ring this year with the Lakers, he's probably going to look where can I be featured in the offense, where can I get more shot attempts, and that could be any team in the league. And that doesn't necessarily have to be a contending team. But what Stacey was talking about with Brooklyn loading up, with Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge, and they've got depth, they've got star power at every position. That's a pretty formidable matchup if it is the Nets and the Lakers in the finals.
Well, I tell you what, it's very similar to the Avengers. You know, you got all the super friends getting together,
right, yeah.
and LeBron is Thanos.
got
And
all Infinity Stones.
so
He
yeah,
does,
yeah. LeBron's got all the Infinity Stones. So therefore, the Avengers, they're all coming together. They get one more, they'll definitely be the Avengers. Okay,
So
they
who's
get
pulling
one
the
more.
glove off?
Huh?
Who's pulling the glove off?
Kevin Durant's going to try.
Yeah. I still think, like, you know, as much talent as they have and they've assembled in Brooklyn, they still have to play together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a guy, Kevin Durant is still out with the hamstring injury. Kyrie's been in and out of the lineup. It's really basically been James Harden. You know, and I got into a little disagreement the other day with you know, somebody was talking to me at the barbershop. Should he be the MVP? He should be MVP. And even though he's playing at an MVP level, you can't give him the MVP.
No, I agree.
Because of what happened in Houston and the way he left and he quit on this team. As much as I like James Harden, and he is playing at an MVP style because he's basically been carrying Brooklyn by himself, you can't give him the MVP. It sends the wrong message.
And he had that keto weekend. The full keto weekend where he lost 60 pounds.
Hey, Stacey said he had that miracle slim fast.
Hey, all I know is whatever plane that they're flying on, everybody got their superpowers back. So the Avengers, you got Blake Griffin, because y'all was over here joking about Blake, and he said next time he sees y'all, he's gonna choke y'all out.
Oh, did you hear what he said to the media the other day?
Yeah, and it was pointed at you.
No,
he was trying to talk to you.
I wasn't on that Zoom call.
So he basically said, no, you wasn't on the Zoom call. You wasn't on the Zoom call, but he was pointing at you because I told him what you said. So he said all the people that said he was washed up and da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah.
And he said now they think it's unfair because another All-Star is going to the Nets. He said everybody thought I was no good.
Yeah, everybody thought he was no good. He couldn't jump, and now he's out there dunking, catching lobs. It looks like Lob City in L.A. And see, all the people made fun of Blake Griffin. Okay, now he got the last laugh.
Yeah,
Boomer sooner, baby, boomer sooner.
Hey, back to the Bulls for a second. I loved your call on Daniel Tice. Tice, baby. That's beautiful, man. That's going to catch on big time.
Tice, baby.
That's,
word to your mother.
You know, and Boston basically gave him up in that deal because they wanted to get under the luxury tax. There's always a business component to it. Heck, he was starting for the Boston Celtics. Him coming off the bench, I'm not sure about him playing together with Vucevic. I know they tried that yesterday. I don't know if that's going to work, but he is exactly what you want in terms of a tough guy, not going to take any nonsense, is going to restore some order in that paint.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, everyone they brought here is a tough guy. Mm-hmm. I mean, we have upgraded toughness big time. I mean, you don't see guys.
He couldn't go down.
Huh?
Well, he couldn't go the other way.
I don't know, man.
Marshmallow lineup.
I don't know. All I know is that you got guys now that are
that
physical.
Was Timmy Whispers, by the way.
Timmy Whispers. Just jump back in.
Send all your cards and letters.
Yeah.
Yeah. This guy here, ladies and gentlemen. He says only 2 words the whole show.
Just lobs a hand grenade in there and he walks away.
Yeah, he throws a bomb in the middle of the table. Everybody's like, Doc!
I never fart in the wind.
Oh, my God. Okay, all right. We just lost another sponsor. Yeah. Anyway, Tice is a tough guy. Yeah. Defensively, you can tell that he's a pro. You know, both Vucevic, him's a pro. I mean, the way they handle themselves, you see where they warm up. Just professional guys, you know, and he made an impact in the game as soon as he came in the game last night. You know, a block shot, an assist here and there, a shot. I mean, he can shoot the 3. You know, he's physical. You know, and it's really sad because, like, you know, we give up a lot of young talent. You know, Wendell Carter Jr., I think, still has an opportunity to be a pretty good player in this league. He's just got to get confidence. You know, they were here, 4 years, and it just didn't work out. You know, for whatever reason, it didn't work out. Sometimes it's a person needs a, change of scenery. You know, he's on a young team in Orlando.
Yeah, how about Daniel Gafford? He had 2 big games then. Unfortunately, you rolled his ankle. Do you see the Wizards already stolen your Mr. Mean nickname? Oh. Everybody's stealing your stuff.
You know what? Listen, when I started being an analyst, this is my 16th year. I remember coming on, people told me that I couldn't have this personality. Yeah. You can't do this. You got to be straight laced. You got to be professional. And I'm like, I'm gonna be myself. And I owe a lot to Jerry Reinsdorf because he, basically told me, call the game the way you see it, be yourself. And so the Bulls have allowed me to be who I am. And now you look at everybody, they're like kind of biting my style. They're like, I'm like the originator of some of these guys, the way they call games. You listen to the guys in Charlotte. how they call games. They weren't calling games like that a couple of years ago. So I think it's pretty cool. It's what I get upset is when the national guys use my stuff and then pass it off as theirs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That kind of irks me a little bit. Instead of I will say Jeff Van Gundy said something one time and he gave me credit. He's one of the first people that ever gave me credit on national TV. Stacey King said, and I was like, okay, cool. But there's some people that just be hijacking, plagiarizing.
Well, isn't that the ultimate form of flattery?
It is.
It is.
Unless you try to make it.
Unless you try to make it as yours. You
Yeah.
try to make it like it's yours. You said it.
Yeah.
And see, a lot of times, guys think because they're on national television that they don't see me down here.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm your favorite, podcaster's podcaster. You know what I'm saying? I'm your favorite analyst. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I people hear our games now. Games are played all over the place now with satellite, so every game is seen.
Twitter,
everybody. Streamed. So everybody gets to see your game. So it's funny on Twitter. Sometimes people will tweet me and go, "Stacey, they're stealing your lines." That's Stacey King's line on Instagram. Stacey King said that first. So the Tice thing yesterday, it was like, everything's instinctive. People think I sit at home in the mirror and I'm singing and I'm doing all these catchphrases, and it's not like that at all. Everything is. I'm just quick witted. And it just flows, man. It's like when you played the dozens when you were a kid. If you guys don't know what the dozens is, that's a
oh yeah.
So
we
that's when you
talked
talk
about
that. Yeah, that's when you talk about somebody. You can't talk about anybody's mother.
Right.
That's off limits. But you can talk about a person's clothes, shoes. BJ told you how good I was at doing that. So that was an episode. That was 2 episodes ago.
Yeah. Episode 20.
Yeah, episode 20.
But we talked about that way back in the beginning.
Yeah.
In the basement, we talked about
in the basement. No, I wasn't in your basement.
Not my basement.
I wasn't. No, I wasn't in your basement. Yeah. Oh, you talking about? Oh, okay.
With his tub and his oil.
Yeah, tub and oil. Yeah. Truffle oil.
But
okay.
You talked about the huntsman in the club.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. That
was the same
scarred me.
episode.
That scarred me.
Okay.
Don't bring that up again.
Hey, the folks in Boston came up with a pretty good one, though. They're having to use Luke Cornett because they've had some injuries and stuff. And he actually had a couple of good games for him. They're calling him the Green Cornet. That's not too bad.
No, that's great. Was that Scalabrine? Was that his call, or was it just a?
I don't know exactly where that came from, but it's it may be the NBC New England website.
I'm going to hold off on my analysis.
It would never come out.
Oh, you're going to save your Celtic pride comment?
Yeah, I know you're.
And Rajon Rondo working with the young guys?
Yeah.
Hey,
Is that coming up later?
I had a lot of Rondo last night with the Clippers. I had some great cutaways.
He didn't play, though.
I know, but I had some great cutaways of Rondo.
Yeah, in case you don't know, John's directing the Milwaukee Bucks broadcast, and they got faced by the Clippers last night. What's wrong with the Bucks?
Well, you know what? It's a good question. I just think you go out west, and it's a whole different ball game. I'm telling you, I watched the Clippers last night, and they didn't have Paul George. Kawhi was 0 for 6 from threes, and they still beat Giannis at 32, and they still beat him by 24 points. And, you just get guys in the right environment. Reggie Jackson, Kennard, this kid Terrence Mann. I mean, I can see why they got rid of Lou Williams. But,
and Bud sits 4 starters against the Knicks last week. What's that all about?
Yeah, and that was a game before. You kind of put me on the spot here.
You got to defend your team.
Well, I mean, hey, we're winning.
Oh, come on now.
The Bulls are 0-2 since the trade. So
wow.
So I
First
think
of all, wait a minute. Hold on.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Stinger.
It's a
First of all,
marathon.
I didn't say anything. Okay, it was Mark Sinowski that said it, but you're gonna drag me into it. Oh, the Bulls are 0-2.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, come on, Mark. You can't win every game on the schedule, and
especially in the playoffs.
Another hand grenade tossed in. Lob that thing in there.
Yeah.
Hey, Bud's won a lot of games. He's won a lot of games for the Bucks. I think you just got to trust a little bit of a transition right now. I mean, but man, playing out west is just. Come on, guys. You look at the standings.
Hey.
I mean, there would be.
Hey, speaking of out west, the Lakers are going to start Andre Drummond in his debut tomorrow against the Milwaukee Bucks in a nationally televised game. And you guys all know my thoughts on Andre Drummond. But he is better than 100-year-old Marc Gasol. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? He's good. He's leading rebounder the last few years. He's going to give you second chance opportunities. My biggest thing with Andre Drummond is that, what Andre Drummond is going to show up.
Right.
Are you trying to win a ring to help a team win a ring and be the difference?
Of course he is.
To be the difference maker.
Yeah,
No, it's easy to say that when you want to go there. It's easy to say I want to be part of a winning champ, but when you get there and you're not the focal point,
And he's a
then
free
your
agent
whole-
at the end of the year, too.
And your whole mindset is different. If you really are going there to win a championship, your ego's to the door, whatever you need me to do. You want me to board? I'm going to board. You want me to play defense? And I'm telling you right now, my biggest concern with them is, last year they had JaVale McGee and they had Dwight Howard. Those guys in limited roles played exceptionally well in limited roles. Yes, okay? They rebounded, they played defense, they blocked shots. Yeah. Is Drummond going to do that? Is he going to come out and play hard every single night? Not just being out there, not empty stats.
If he drops a couple of passes, though, LeBron will tell him, go sit down next to the coach.
That could be a problem.
Yeah.
That could be. I don't question his
And
hands.
they're going to finish games with Anthony Davis playing center anyway.
Yeah, but, you definitely need him because he's much younger than Gasol. Mm-hmm. He's one of the best rebounders in the game. Mark always says his empty stats. He's empty stats. And by the way, he's looking for you too. There's a lot of people looking for Mark Zanowski.
That's why we locked the door. That's why we locked the door, Stacey.
Mark Zanowski came here with a Groucho Marx mask on today. There's a lot of people looking for him. But if he comes in and with his mind right and he comes in there and he plays hard every night, he can help them win a championship because he could be the difference because they got to get out the West. Well, forget Brooklyn. You can't keep thinking about Brooklyn if you're Los Angeles Lakers. I heard Jeannie Buss say something today about, everybody's gearing towards us.
Bring them on.
Okay, bring them on. Yeah. You might want to worry about what's in your backyard first, okay? Because you got Denver who is playing at a high level. You got Utah that is playing at a high level, and you got the Clippers that want you too.
Yeah, so Denver picked up Aaron Gordon.
Phoenix,
nice move.
Phoenix is there too. Okay, so it's not going to be a cakewalk coming out the Western Conference. Okay, whereas Brooklyn, per se, will have an easier time coming out the Eastern Conference, at least to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. The first two rounds, I feel like, will be a cakewalk for them because they're gonna face an 8th seed, and then they're gonna face another, a 6th seed or something, and then they'll have to play Philly in the Eastern Conference Finals. Somebody's gonna have to play Miami, and somebody's gonna have to play Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And neither one of those teams match up with Brooklyn. Neither one of those teams.
Well, not when you have.
So Brooklyn doesn't care. Brooklyn's like, send them. Send them. We don't care. Their biggest match is going to be Philadelphia. That's going to be the Eastern Conference Final. Unless Philly implodes because, Embiid's been out for a while. If they just implode, I just don't see it happening because I think Doc Rivers has them playing with a certain confidence, a certain swagger.
Oh, yeah. They're playing defense.
And they're playing D.
Yeah, they play some D. And you got Dwight Howard that you mentioned. He plays a perfect role there. I mean, he's been filling in nicely from Embiid, but he plays that role that, kind of intimidator, gets in people's faces, gets in their heads. I mean, they're
He's
legit.
really not scaring anybody.
Well, they're pretty legit. I think we'd be the one team that can stop the Nets. We'll see.
That's the one team. That's the one team that I think can. But they got too much firepower, man. I was looking at their roster today. I mean,
the Nets?
Yeah, they got too much firepower. I mean, Joe Harris is the best 3-point shooter in the game right now, and he's going to get wide open looks every single night. Okay, it's not even going to be funny. Then I think they got Tyler Johnson. They've got some other guys. Bruce Brown. I mean, they got a really nice supporting cast. Because you remember early in the year that was the big thing. Like they didn't have any depth. To get rid of all the depth to get these guys. Now, give Sean Mark some credit. He has positioned them to, making moves, getting guys in there, and I think the connection that Kevin Durant has with LaMarcus Aldridge being University of Texas, I think that helped him come there. I think the relationship with Blake Griffin through college and through the pros helped get Blake there. Because Blake, there was rumor Blake wanted to go back out to L.A., because he still got a house out there. He wanted to go back out to California. So to get him to stay in Brooklyn for a year, that was impressive.
Well, Stinger's going to save his Celtic pride for later in the show.
Oh, yeah.
So
is that okay if we move that around?
Yeah. We're gonna take a quick little musical break here and come back with more of episode 22 of Give Me the Hot Sauce.
That's what the fans
you recognize that smile, one of the most popular players during the early years of the Tom Thibodeau era. Brian Scalabrine, our special guest on Gimme the Hot Sauce. Brian, what was it like to hear that Stacey King call? Bring back some good memories?
Loved it. I owe him a lot, man. Like the white Mamba, it does not blow up. We don't have T-shirts outside the UC if it's not for Stacey King. So I think it's a good nickname. Stacey King turned it into a phenomenal nickname.
Well, I appreciate that, Scal. You deserve that nickname. You got to earn a nickname if I give you a nickname, so you earned it. So our big question to you is, because you cover the Celtics, and you know Daniel Tice. Tice, baby. Okay, as I call him. Okay, word to your mother. What kind? Well, we saw him last night, and we were highly impressed with him. He plays hard. I liked him when he was with Boston. I thought he was the anchor of the defense back there. He does a good job of rotating over, blocking shots. And last night he got his first action with the Bulls up at Golden State, and I thought he made an immediate impact when he came in the game. So let Bulls fans know what kind of player we're getting.
Yeah, so versatile defender, great communicator. You nailed that right off the jump. Could shoot the three, very good in catch and shoot situations, got good hands going to the basket, decent at the rim. I think, and this is really important nowadays, like he's not going to lock Embiid up. That's not what he is. Like he'll be just like everybody else, but Embiid gives work to, like Rudy Gobert, right? But when it comes to a solid defender, I mean, 7s or 8s across the board, and sometimes that's all you need, just having guys that have versatility and the fact that he could shoot it. And one thing you'll notice, he has underrated hands. Like he's so good at catching and finishing quickly. So you guys got a good one. Like he's got guys like Zach LaVine are going to love playing with him. I don't know how long Zach LaVine's going to be out, but like your guards are going to love playing with Daniel Tice. He learned from Aaron Baines and Al Horford, two big time pros, to establish NBA guys. And now because he was under their wing to start, he is an elite guy in this league for, his position.
Scal, why were the Celtics willing to give him up? I know that they talked about the salary cap, and they want to make sure they got under the luxury tax with the moves that they made in that trade. But when you look at what's happened over the last 5 or 6 years with Danny Ainge, at once you had that treasure trove of draft picks and never really turned him into that big star that could get you over the top. Is there any degree of fan impatience or unhappiness with what Danny's been able to do over the last few years?
Yeah, I mean, no question about it. I mean, let's first, it was all about getting under the tax. It wasn't necessarily like he didn't like Daniel Tice, or he didn't think he fit in, or he was trying to carve out more space for Robert Williams. I think the Celtics are their group. They feel like they'll pay the tax if we have a championship level team. And this year we just don't have one. I mean, whether the expectations are, we're not a championship level team, and it's hard to make moves in the offseason when you're in the tax. So the move was for tax purposes. And I mean, so far, like Luke Cornett and Mo Wagner have been solid for the Celtics at this point. But going to what you said about the trove of draft picks, yeah, I mean, I think the expectations were high. You had the Sacramento pick. Yeah. That was supposed to be a great pick. For whatever reason, that year they were good. They were right around 14. Then you have Memphis, and Memphis is doing whatever they can the year before to get rid of that pick. Like it was protected to 8, but they wanted to move on from it and have control of their own pick. Well, the lottery balls bounce around. They're the number 2 pick in the draft. Ja Morant goes there, and Memphis is halfway decent. So, I mean, that's not Danny's fault. It's just expectations were, you just wait till this Memphis pick, you wait till the Sacramento pick comes, and each one of those teams had great years for whatever circumstances. De'Aaron Fox, Ja Morant coming to their own. So yeah, I'm sure they thought that they were going to come out of this with 1 or 2 more guys, but that's just how it goes, and it didn't work out that way. I think it kind of all went sideways when they made the Kyrie Irving trade, and they thought Kyrie Irving was going to be that guy. He ended up not, and now the Celtics are kind of pivoting from there.
Looking at you guys right now, you guys have gone through just what pretty much every team's gone through. You have guys in and out of the lineup, injuries. Is there a sense of panic? Because I know right now, you guys are down towards the bottom. And is there a sense of concern or panic that you guys are not going to be in the top 10 to get into the playoffs?
No, I don't think they're not going to make the play-in game. I mean, that's like, I think if it was 8 teams, I think it'd be a little bit sense of urgency, but I think they're going to make that. And they'll remember they've had the hardest schedule up until this point. They've played the most amount of road games up until this point. So there is some hope that you could be trending the right direction. The only thing is they're just not playing great basketball. Historically speaking, Brad Stevens' teams have been good at defending the three. They're 18th this year defending the three. Historically speaking, they've been a really good fourth quarter team, executing, getting stops. They're not. They're in the bottom half of the NBA. I mean, dang near 25 or below in the fourth quarter defense. So, I mean, those things concern me, but it's just the fact that, it's COVID, all this other stuff. I think it's not concerning that they're not going to make the playoffs. It's just one of those things where reality strikes that you're probably not going to make a deep playoff run.
How healthy is Kemba Walker? Because it doesn't seem like he's 100%, and he really makes you guys go when he's healthy. Has that been one of the big reasons having him in and out of the lineup?
Yeah, so he's healthy, but they're not going to play him on back-to-backs. So we're much better when we have Kemba Walker it's difficult. Like you see how many more back-to-backs there are this year compared to past because you're really squeezing those games in, and there is no rhythm. Like this team is not going to play 5 or 7 games in a row. Even last night they played New Orleans, and by the way, Zion is a freak show. But it's a whole nother topic. But Jaylen Brown, you make the trade for Evan Fournier. He gets the false positive COVID test. Now he's cleared to go, and Jaylen Brown hurts his hip. So the Celtics just haven't been whole. Now I think as an NBA player and throughout the NBA regular season, you should take pride in winning games with guys out. I think it's like the bench should step up and be like, this is why I'm here. A lot of people in the NBA believe like, oh man, I should be playing more when everyone's healthy. No, you should be delivering when guys are hurt. That is the key to being a good bench. And they just don't. Like for whatever reason, when guys are missing, a couple guys out, Celtics don't get it done. So, I think to answer your question about Kemba, he's healthy. He's just not playing back-to-back. So, and I think that's the reason why he's healthy.
John, you going to drop your Celtic pride?
You know what? I just want to stop. I watched 2 Celtics games against the Bucks, and I brought my Larry Bird sign. I know you got the banner behind you, and I want to say that Celtics pride is back. I watched them against the Bucks.
Oh my God!
You talking about the movie Celtic Pride?
No, I'm talking about what I saw against the Bucks. And Scal saw it too. They were down 25 one night. They came back. The next night, they looked really good. They hit 22 threes. They're going to be a 6 seed. Celtics pride's not going anywhere. I got the cigar right here. Scal knows it too. All these guys are haters here, man. Celtics pride, baby, is back. And Larry's proud of that too. Sign.
Hey, man. Is that Larry Bird ain't walking through that door?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, Larry Bird ain't walking through that door. Neither is Kemba Brown.
Yeah, Tatum and Brown and Kemba Walker are going to be fine, man. And
you
Williams,
guys will notice this, right? And Chicago, there's a lot of teams. There's what are you capable of, and how are you consistent? And Stacey has seen the most consistent of all time. And then you're saying like what you're capable of. We've seen a lot of players and what they're capable of. And you're bringing up the Milwaukee Buck game, and that's the Celtics, what they're capable of. But consistency is really the name of the game, and they just haven't been consistent all year.
Shut down.
I did, but he's got the championship band in the background. We got to ask him about
Let's get the paddles. Get the paddles. Revive them, please.
No,
that's called Zoom flexing. You don't Zoom flex? That's Zoom flexing.
Hey, you TikTok flex recently. I saw that video of the kid. Man, dude. Wow.
Scal, check out the background behind Stinger over there. Got Stacey's logo behind there with all his sayings. I mean, this is big time stuff now.
I do love Give Me the Hot Sauce. I'll never ever forget when we were in our heyday and Kyle Korver was going off. Some attractive woman was up in the stand with a big jar of hot sauce. And she was putting it all over. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this before. Give me the hot sauce. I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
Oh my God!
Hey, Stacey's got his own label of hot sauce. We'll send some out to you.
Oh,
Don't
perfect.
listen.
I love it.
Scal, don't listen to them, man. No,
you do.
Listen, man.
It's coming.
Don't listen to these guys, man.
Hey, man, I got vodka. I got spaghetti sauce. I mean, I'm not pretending. This is for real. Out
Yeah,
here,
I know.
I am in the food industry. There's Scals everywhere. So I 100% believe you have hot sauce.
Especially in the north end of Boston, I bet. You're big in the north end.
Yeah, I mean, New England. I'm much bigger than just
Sorry.
Yeah.
Hey,
You're
Rhode
just
Islander.
getting shot down all over the place, John.
Big leagues. They're big leaguers.
Scal, tell the listeners, because you know what? We always tell people, like, when they look at NBA players, they see star players. They see the Kevin Durant's, the LeBron James, and, guys who are on the bench, who are role players, who play a role in helping the team win. They always think that, we can't play. Like, they forget you are a stud at USC. They judge a lot of you on what you do in the NBA. They don't know that you were the man at USC. You were on a good team. You were a good player in USC. You're a top player. And then you get to the league and they say, well, white mama ain't nothing. I can bust his ass, and then you have to let them know what time it is. So we just saw this episode where you took the kids' shoes, and that was hilarious, dude. So tell the listeners what you do.
The difference. So I was just coming back, man. Like, I play all the time now. I play way too much. Let me just say that I play way too much. So I'm just coming off of like a back thing. Because when you get older, you play a lot. You play against young guys. Like, you're gonna get hurt. It's just part of the deal, right? And you just hope it's not catastrophic that where you have to go take up golf, right? And I'm still hanging on to basketball. Anyway, so the kid came over, and I've been using this line for a while now. Like, let's bet $5,000. Let's put you in there. I know kids, they love their iPhones, right? So I'm like, well, put up the phone then. Let's go. If we're going to play me, we're going to play for something. I'm just not going over there for charity. That's not how this thing works. And the difference between him and most other kids, like most other kids will back out of it. He was like, let's go then. I got you, White Mamba. So I was like, damn it. I was totally thinking I was going to have to play. And then I went over there, and the level of disrespect that I was getting from this kid, then what Stacey's talking about is those juices, right? The competitive juices that when, like, to play in the NBA, you got to be a little bit tapped. Like, you just have to be able to go places where you're going against better players than you, and you have to level up to get a stop, because, like, this is your livelihood on the line. Like, these kids don't ever play with their livelihoods on the line. So anyways, he started talking. Then I just had to level up. And normally I'm like helping kids out. Listen, when you go right, step into my body before you go step back. Your space is good for you. But this kid, it was like, I'm going to destroy this guy right from the start. I'm not giving him a freaking inch when I'm out there. So I beat him 11-0. I embarrassed him, but I did not take his shoes and I did not take his phone. But I could tell right away, as soon as I went right and hit him and spun, he knew right then, like, it was over. Like, winning was not an option for him. It was, how many points can I score? Like, can I just score one? Can I just score two? I could see it all in his face. But yeah, and I had no idea that thing was going to blow up. That had nothing to do with me. That was all those kids. And when it did, I just thought, I guess it was a great story, a great reminder of the difference between, I haven't been in the league in 10 years. This guy's playing basketball every day. There are levels to this game.
Yeah, there is. It was awesome, though, because he was kind of disrespectful. He was. For sure. And you kind of put him in his place. I saw the one episode where you did something with the radio station. Yeah. And then you had, like, it was play Scal one-on-one, and you, like, shut everybody down. I don't think anybody scored. You played, like 10 people. I don't think anybody scored.
Yeah, I played 5 games and one guy scored. That was it. But but I couldn't play 5 games now. Like, when I got through that game, I was like, oh man, I'm tired. But listen, Stacey, when I was in college, I went to Santa Barbara Michael Jordan camp, and the dudes were talking shit to Michael Jordan. Like, being delusional in basketball is part of the deal. Like, I can go to any rec league right now and see 5 guys who are delusional out there. And to be honest with you, when I was in the NBA, I was one of them. I remember when I was with the Bulls, Kevin Durant, somehow I matched up on him. He came down, he yacked me with a crossover into a floater. And I was like dumbfounded. How the hell did this guy just score on me? I was like, what? Why was he score on me? I had perfect defensive position. My dumbass, it's Kevin Durant. That's how you score on me. But you got to play those games in your head.
Yeah, you do.
You do.
You do. You got to go to a different level.
Yeah.
Hey, Scal, what's going on with the big three? Are they coming back this year? I know you were captain for the first couple of years, and that a lot of people really enjoyed that. What was your experience like being a captain and competing in the big three?
I like it, but like one-on-one against real good players is really not my game. So like I've mastered playing. If the game of basketball was played like 8-on-8, I think I'd still be able to play in the NBA. But 3-on-3, I get stuck on the island guarding dudes like Greg Oden, where he doesn't have to move. I got like no option here. If I guarded Greg Oden in a game, I just run around and set screens and tire his ass out, and maybe I get an open shot. In 3-on-3, when he doesn't have to clear, man, I am in trouble. But I do love competition. It's the thing I miss the most. I don't miss the lifestyle or any of that stuff. I miss competition. I love competition, and there's no better competition than playing like really good players. And my rec league here in Boston, I don't live in Chicago. I know how pickup in Chicago is. If I lived in Chicago, I wouldn't feel that need, but I live in Boston. The pickup's not legendary out here. So it's my closest thing to, the NBA competition I get, and I enjoy doing it.
Tell us a little bit about your time playing here in Chicago and how magical that time was. I mean, you guys were a fun team to watch. You guys were so close, man. We talk about it so much. Playing with Tibbs, playing with D Rose and all that. Tell the listeners about that experience.
I loved it, and I tell you why. Because I knew it was like coming to an end, and I wasn't one of these guys that was like trying to hang on. If I hung on, I hung on. If I didn't, I didn't. Like I was at peace with it, right? So I was just gonna bust my ass every day and see what happens, right? But I love the people, the Chicago fans. You can tell they're super passionate. The team was great. There's all kinds of different personalities, from like the hippies like Joakim Noah to Derrick Rose, like the most street credibility guy at the time. You had international like Luol Deng. You had Carlos Boozer. He was from Alaska. You had Kyle Korver, looked like Justin Bieber. You had all the like the losers living in their basement rooting for me. Like it just had like a big group of guys like that from all walks of life who we all really got along. And I can't have to mention, Kurt Thomas and Keith Bogan. Those dudes cracking up, this like destroying people. By the way, like these guys don't make fun of each other anymore. That's like not a thing anymore.
No.
That's all we did was crack.
That's all we did. That's all we did.
Crazy. I couldn't even imagine going and like not and just making fun of somebody for these. That the new players, they don't really do that stuff anymore. I find that. I don't know what I would do. I think I would have an anxiety attack if I went in and no one made fun of each other.
That's crazy, isn't it?
It is so crazy. I've been making fun of myself or my teammates since I was like 12 years old. And so all we did was bust on each other. For every moment we would bust on each other. And, and that's like the best when you can do that and go to war and no one's too sensitive. But, I love, I've always I thought this is the craziest thing when I was in Chicago. I thought that Derrick Rose, I played with Garnett, Pierce, Allen. I played with Jason Kidd, right? I thought Derrick Rose was going to be better than all of them. Like I just watched him every day, and he did things that just flat out amazed me. And I don't know. I mean, obviously the injuries and everything like that, but I never have been around a player like that year where, and I was like Jason Kidd finished second in MVP voting behind Tim Duncan, and I just like what I saw from Derrick, I was like blown away almost every single night watching him play.
Yeah, we're so glad to see him back playing in a meaningful way again. He's coming off the bench, but he's playing some really good minutes, really productive minutes, and he's back with Tom Thibodeau again. One of the guys on that team, C.J. Watson's writing children's books now. Did you know Did you know he had that in him when you were a teammate?
No, all he was doing is trying to sell T-shirts, man. Like, I was like, are you even watching the scouting report? Like, yo, White Mamba, we're gonna throw your picture on a T-shirt. All he wanted to do was sell T-shirts, like, and that's a cool part about the NBA, like the different person. I had no idea he was writing children. He plays in the Big Three, by the way, and the same guy. Like he's the same guy. He barely talked to me then, unless he was trying to make money off my T-shirts, right? And he barely talked to me at the Big Three. It was crazy. But
we talk about nicknames. He's a quiet storm.
Yeah, the quiet storm.
CJ Watson.
Scal, you
Coming to America reference. I like
Yes,
it.
yes,
I like
yes.
it. A lot of people don't get that.
Scal, you had a similar experience in your broadcasting career as Stacey did. He was brought on to the Bulls television team as a third guy at first, and then he took over for the legend Johnny Red Kerr, and now you've stepped in for the great Tommy Heinsohn. What's that been like for you?
I don't try to fill shoes. I tell you that. It's like impossible to do that. I just try to be myself and I try to learn. Don't get me wrong. I'm trying to learn from guys like Tommy, all those years of being sitting beside him or talking to him in the media room. And I miss him. And this year has been super weird. And we just had fans for the first time the other day, but I miss Tommy. And, but once again, I can't fill his shoes. Like he's been here since 1957. He's been a staple to this organization. He's been a part of every championship. I mean, it's just one of those things where I just try to do the best job I can. I understand that people are going to miss Tommy Heinsohn. It's just the way it goes. But I have to just do the best job that I can.
When you look at the Eastern Conference and you see what Brooklyn has done with their team, we kind of liken it to the Avengers. And,
Avengers
LeBron
assemble.
Yeah, and LeBron is Thanos with the Infinity Stones. So, what's your interpretation? Do you think they have enough, not just to get out the Eastern Conference? I still think Philadelphia is going to be tough to beat as well. But do you think they have what it takes to win it all?
So I think it's all like it comes down to this, Stacey. Is Kevin Durant going to play? And that's like, I don't know if he's going to play or not. And like the playoffs, it's grueling, man. Like it is a grind and you're not going to get through. I can guarantee you this. No NBA player is getting through the playoffs unscathed, like without having a tight hamstring or a tight back or a tight calf or whatever. So if you're Kevin Durant, you had a tight calf, and last time you had a tight calf, you went out and played, you popped your Achilles. Now you have a tight hamstring, and now you're going to go out there and you're going to play, and you're going to be okay with it. I mean, he's been out for almost 6 weeks now, so I'm not sure like how healthy he's going to be. I think he'll come back. I just don't how is he going to navigate all this, and is he going to push himself through it? Because it really is, when you get down to the playoffs, like a battle of attrition, and the ones that can sustain it are the ones that have the best chance of winning. So if he is healthy and they have this team, by the way, I'm not one of these guys that think that Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge are the answer. And I know like the internet loves these guys, but they're not that good. They're just, when you watch them play, you can exploit them defensively. They're just not that good. Here's the thing. I'll give you an example. Like if Rashawn Holmes, right, of Sacramento, if he got bought out and he joined the Nets, right, let's call it the general fans would not be going nuts. They won't be calling them the Avengers or anything like that. But he's much better than both those guys for that team. So I don't know if they need a LaMarcus Aldridge who can't play defense. I don't know if they need a Blake Griffin who can't protect the rim anymore. But they went and got those guys, and I think they're getting them for like an insurance for Kevin Durant. But if you have James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving playing at this level, then I think those guys are like, to me, they're just like two other guys. It could be anybody. I could probably name 100 guys that could fill in that role and be effective for the Nets if you have Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving.
See what I told you, Stacey? You going to get him Blake Griffin after Scal?
Listen,
he was giving me a hard time because I told him Blake Griffin wasn't the same player anymore.
No, you didn't say it like that. So you're being nice now. You basically said that Blake Griffin couldn't jump over a dollar bill. That's what he said.
I never said that.
And then so I called. So Blake threatened him. Said
he's calling on that Oklahoma fraternity.
He's going to get him when he sees him. So I said, I talked to Blake. I said, Blake, there's no need for violence. I'll talk to him. He didn't mean it. You know what I'm saying? So I got him off his back.
Well, he's going to be more athletic than what we saw in Detroit because he was playing 35 minutes a night. But, I mean, like Stacey, he's going to play, 12 to 18 in the play. If Kevin Durant is there, he's going to play 12 to 18 minutes. Like how much – listen, I'm not – I think Blake Griffin's a basketball genius. Don't get me wrong, but athletically, he's just not there anymore. And LaMarcus Aldridge – he can't even bend his knees anymore, so I don't know how he's going to guard guys like that.
Tiger Bomb.
They got a lot of defensive weaknesses, but hey, good luck. Like those guys didn't have to guard Giannis. Do you remember when Detroit played? Detroit 3 years ago played the Milwaukee Bucks. Go watch those highlights of what Giannis was doing to Blake Griffin. That was 3 years ago. I don't know. Maybe you know something I don't know.
I got Philadelphia though. I got Philadelphia giving them problems if Embiid is healthy. You know, because they defend, and Doc's got them playing at a high level. And you know, looking at Ben Simmons, he can guard pretty much anybody. I mean, he easily could be Defensive Player of the Year. They can put him on anybody on the floor. If Embiid's healthy, I mean, he's a problem. Just like Jokic is a problem in Denver. There's no one that really can match up with those guys.
Yeah, and don't sleep on Milwaukee. Like Drew Holiday is not Eric Bledsoe. Like Eric Bledsoe, you can't. He's a good player. He's a great regular season player. You just can't count on him in huge playoff games where you need him to make shots, and you can't count on Drew Holiday. So I like Milwaukee too. I like the adjustments they've made on their offense. So Milwaukee is like the most under the radar team in the NBA right now. No one's talking about them because they've fanned out the last 2 years, but there could be dangerous.
Well, that's going to be quite a series, Bucks and Celtics. Revisit the 80s, and that's going to be a knock it down.
That will not be a good series.
It's not going to be a good series.
Before we let we go, I know Mark's. You've played on a lot of great teams and a lot of great players. You mentioned, Jason Kidd and Derrick Rose, but I just want you to talk about the 2008 World Champions. So that banner you have behind you, because I remember watching those games and playing against the Lakers. Remember me growing up in the 80s, with the big three. That
Get to
team,
the question.
No, it was exciting. I'm a fan. It was great. And I just want to know what was Scal's experience like playing, like you mentioned some of the guys.
Yeah.
How great was that?
That team was nuts, man. It was like day in and day out. They were the most competitive group I've ever been around, from the card games to the free throw shooting to the weight room to the somehow we get out the boxing gloves and we start throwing down to arm wrestling to, it was the most competitive group. If you weren't on point every single day, you would hear about it for weeks. If you messed up a play, you would hear about it for weeks. If you wear the wrong outfit, you would hear about it for weeks. So it was just one of those things where everyone had to level up, and it equaled to us winning a championship. It was like a hostile environment in a good way. Stacey knows about that. We all saw the Last Dance, man.
That's exactly how it
we
was.
saw that. You know about that.
That's exactly how it was.
So Scale.
If you didn't level up, man, you get ran over.
You get ran over, or you'd be gone.
So Scale's a fellow redhead. Growing up as then being the last pick because you had red hair, did that make you a tougher player?
Yeah, 100%. I tell people that all the time. Like when people wonder why I'm not a nice person, I go, it's society. Like people have been making fun of me for years now. Like, how do you think I'm going to turn out? Like, you think I'm just going to sit there and take it? No, man. Like, I'm on fight or flight every single second of the day. So
See, that's what I'm talking about. No one else understands that. And the King's been picking on me for over 30 years.
Oh my God!
Here we go.
That's my fault.
Yeah.
It's
You got a
my
sound
fault.
effect there, John? Paul Little Red.
He made me a better player. He's
He's still the last one to get picked in pickup games. He's a grown ass man.
I will say this. If you're a redhead and you're 25 or above and you're not living in your mom's basement, then you really won life. Like, you've really done well.
Or meatloaf, Mom.
Hey, we're new brothers, man.
Hey, Mom,
I
can you
love
get
that.
those Pop-Tarts?
You've done well.
Shut up, Mom.
There's really just it's not like a sliding scale. There's just a line. Like basement, no basement. Like if you're out of the basement, you've won. Like you've won life. That's it.
I hear you. Thanks, Scale. That helped me out a lot.
That make you feel better?
Yeah, I felt like it just broke through.
That was a therapy right there for him.
Oh man, that was.
I didn't know you felt that way about me. Jesus.
Yeah, well,
I feel bad.
It's been a lot of pain.
I'm sorry, man. Oh, you want a hug? Jesus.
That's a man code.
Come over here.
Man code violation.
You can tell it's late in the show because the Stella Artois has been flowing. So Timmy's needs a little bit of therapy, and that's usually a clue when Timmy asks a question. It's time to bring the interview to a close. Brian Scalabrine, thank you so much for joining us. It was really great catching up. The Bulls fans, you're still one of the most popular guys during your time here in Chicago. Best of luck with your broadcasting career in Boston, and good luck with the Big Three starting up again this summer.
You got it, guys. Thank you.
Thanks for being on, Scal. You're the best, bro.
Thanks.
You okay, Tim? Sriracha.
These musical interludes only last for a couple of seconds, but in reality, the break between segments is a little bit longer. If you could only have heard what went on between segments, we might be thrown off the airwaves.
Yeah,
even though this
FCC,
is,
yeah.
I don't know if the FCC gets involved with podcasts, but that's a whole different
knows?
issue. One thing we do know for sure, a popular new segment on the show is the man code violation.
Man code violation.
Very nicely done, John.
John.
Hit the right button.
Way to memorize the button.
And Stacey, I know that a week doesn't go by where something doesn't happen that just turns your head the other way.
You know, I try to avoid the man code violation. Seriously, I'm not one of these guys that look for it.
Right.
It just finds me.
Well, we're glad to hear that.
Yeah. Okay, Mark, it finds me, buddy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So another man code couple of violations. Okay. I can't tell you the health club that I work out of because I don't want to put them on blast. But anyway, so this is a co-ed swimming pool, co-ed hot
nice.
tub.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, it's a real nice health club. Real nice health club. Okay, and it's it's really nice. You go in there, it's really nice. So so everybody can use this sauna. It's right next to the pool.
Okay.
Okay. There's a big sign that even Stevie Wonder could read. Please take a shower after you come out of the sauna. Big sign. Okay. Don't enter the pool after coming out of the sauna. Huge sign. Huge sign.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Yeah, it's in every club. It should be in every club.
It's nationwide.
Yeah, it should be in your house.
I don't
Okay?
think it's in our club, but that's okay.
Yeah, your club's dingy and nasty. Okay, you got duty in the pool. Okay, anyway. anyway, that's a different story, different chapter, and a different episode. Okay, so I'm swimming laps in the pool. You know, it's a lap pool. I'm swimming laps. You know, I'm in there. It's like probably about 4:30 in the morning. I'm in there on my Rocky Balboa workout.
4:30.
Yeah, 4:30 in the morning. Because you got to get in there before the crowd gets in there. Okay, you got to get in there early.
He ran there, of course.
Yeah. There's Timmy Whispers again.
He skateboarded.
No, you skateboard over there. So anyway, before I was really interrupted by Cling and Clang, I'm swimming laps. Minding my own business. I'm the only one in the pool. It's just awesome. I'm swimming laps. So I'm like Mark Spitz. You know, I'm like, Phelps, whatever his name, Michael Phelps.
Michael Phelps, yeah.
Yeah.
He only won 100 gold medals.
Yeah, I know,
That's
but
all right.
you know what? In my mind, I won a gold medal, okay? Don't ruin the dream, Mark Sinowski.
All right.
So anyway, I was really interrupted by Mark Sinowski.
He's trying to help.
So I'm swimming. Now, I can see from the pool, I can see the sauna. I can see the people in the sauna. I can actually watch them.
While you're swimming.
Yeah, because the pool's right next to the sauna, okay? So there was a guy in the sauna, kind of a portly gentleman, big guy, you know. He had some goggles on the top of his forehead. So that gave me a tip that he was going to try to get in the pool. That gave me the tip.
After the sauna.
After the sauna. And he had a pair of Speedos on. He was a heavy set guy, hairy back, just a hairy, like, oh.
You really getting a good look.
No, yeah, because I need to know if he's going to jump in the pool. Okay, that's what I need to know.
Oh, is that it?
I'm just telling you because I'm a clean freak. If you're gonna sweat for 30 minutes in a hot tub,
Right.
in a sauna,
Right.
and jump yourself in a pool without showering off, I need to know.
So you're saying Pat Ewing couldn't be a member of the South Club?
No, Pat Ewing couldn't be. No.
Along came Polly.
So
like.
yeah, exactly. He looked like that guy in Along Came Polly when Ben Stiller went, bumped into him, shirt and skin. Oh, you know that one? That's what it was like.
Wait,
So-
he's in a different lane though.
no, wait a minute. Let me finish the story. So I'm swimming. I get down to the one end, and he's coming out the sauna. So I'm like, no. He's walking towards lane 2. And I'm like, no, he's not. Tell me this is not true. Because there's a hot tub. So I thought he was going to go in a hot tub, which is also nasty. So he bypassed the hot tub. And I'm like, damn. He's getting ready to get in this water. So I had to swim all the way back to the other end because there's like a ladder over there. So I need to get up on the ladder to get out. So I'm swimming. I'm trying to get out of the water. I'm hurrying. I'm hustling. So I don't get in. So I don't be in the water
like
when
a
he's
shark.
in the water. Yeah. I don't want to be in the water when this guy jumps in. Okay. So
I
I'm
understand.
in lane 1. He's in lane 2. He's going to get in lane 2. So he's over there stretching. He's doing all these body stretches, and I'm like, oh my God, he's going to jump in. So as I'm getting ready, I get to the edge, and you know how you get to the edge, and you know how they do those little flip turns. But I wasn't gonna do a flip turn.
Wait.
I was just gonna get out.
Wait, board shorts or a Speedo?
Okay, anyway, I'm not talking to you. You ruined the story. So here comes this dude. He jumps in the water.
Ooh.
Before I get to the edge.
Ooh.
So my first thought is
you
like,
contaminated?
all this contamination just went off this dude. And he's like, you remember how Godzilla or Kong, when they walk in the ocean and they're standing up, half their body's in the ocean and they're walking. That's how he was. He was walking the lanes. He wasn't swimming. He was walking the lanes with goggles on his head. And he looked like King Kong going through like the Pacific, just walking, trying to get back to Skull Island. That's what it looked like.
Pacific Rim.
And I get out. I hustle out. I hustle out of the water. I literally like slid on the ground like a seal to get out. And then I sit up and I'm looking at this dude. I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me.
Now you don't say anything, or
No, I went and reported him.
why you're one of those guys?
Oh yeah, I snitched.
Is it? Did you tell him, man?
Yeah, I told him it's a man code violation. I told him it's disgusting. I pay a lot of money for this club. And I said, for people, there's a big sign that says, please don't get in the water unless you take a shower. Okay. He violated that. Okay. That was just one violation.
Wow.
The next like 3 days later, there's another violation.
Same guy?
No, it was a lady. This is a woman code violation.
Hairy back?
Yeah, no, she didn't have a hairy back. No, she didn't have a hairy back. So she had one of she's in the same situation, like 4:30 in the morning, same situation. She's in the sauna by herself. She's got one of those flower caps that you used to see in the 60s.
Yeah.
Like one of those swim caps. Yeah. So I'm like, oh my God, that tipped me off. She's gonna be in the water. So I'm like, oh my God, no. So
You got to get there earlier.
yeah. So I'm swimming.
It means there's a lot of hair elsewhere.
I'm swimming. There's Tim right there. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I said it.
We just lost
I
another
said it.
sponsor.
Yeah, I
Wow.
Man, I'm glad I'm done eating.
So I'm swimming. I get same scenario, get to the other end. She's coming out at the same time I get to the far end. I'm like, oh. So I got to sprint. So I push off the edge and I'm swimming like a torpedo trying to get to the other end. Before I get to the edge, she cannonballs in her sweaty body.
Oh, she knew. She did that on purpose.
Yes, she cannonballed in. She was probably about 125 pound, little lady, but she was sweaty. She had been in the sauna for 30 minutes, and she cannonballed in the water.
That's hot.
So did you tell
That's
her?
hot. You're a sick dude, man. You're a sick dude, man. You're a pervert, dude. You're sick.
Did you tell on her?
I sure did. I went back up. I was Karen, as they call these Karens now. I wasn't Karen. I was. What would you call a man? I was Carl. I went and told. I sure did go tell. She'd have told on me if I'd have jumped in with a sweaty body.
Every man for himself.
No,
now.
listen.
Woman.
Hey, listen. If you commit a crime around me, I'm telling. I'm not doing time for you, John. Okay, you do something, I'm snitching.
So I have to self-report then because I go from the pool. Let me just make sure this one. I in the pool.
Okay.
Then I go into the hot tub.
Okay.
And then I go to the sauna. Is that okay to do? If you were,
you're ending in the sauna.
But how do you finish the lap?
I jump out of the pool. I don't use the stairs, but but I just want to make sure that's okay. So if I come to your club and I go pool, hot tub, sauna, that's okay.
Stacey locks the door behind him. You can't get into his club.
No,
It's locked.
Yeah, it's locked. If you go from the pool to the hot tub to the sauna, you're fine. Okay, but if you try to go pool, sauna, back to the hot tub, I'm reporting you. I'm just going to be honest.
Okay.
Because you're sweating like a pig, and then you're going to jump back in the water after sweating.
Can I ask you another man code violation that occurred today at my club?
Okay.
I'm not going to name any names.
There's been a lot of man code violations at your club.
Well, I don't have the leather seats that you do in the whole. But there was a gentleman in the. So we have a sauna, a steam room in the men's.
Yes, so do we.
And so, occasionally I'll go in there and after, before I take a shower. And there was a guy full naked, laying down on the bench right where you open the door. Looked like he was posing for Michelangelo. Spread eagle. What now? What?
Were you the only one in there?
I didn't even go in.
Oh, you turned around and left?
I said
That's a good call.
Yeah, I didn't
Turn
even
around.
I didn't even open the door, but I don't understand, Tim. What possesses people to go?
Why are you
spread-
asking Tim? That's the wrong guy to ask.
That is the wrong guy to ask.
I was just say Jabba the Hutt even wore a towel.
Star Wars reference. Gotta love that.
That is a man code violation.
Well, I hope it is. It's
Yeah,
something.
I mean, if you're just laying there and you're like you're sunbathing and naked, that's a man code violation.
long as it's
You
not
got to have a
playing-
towel on
Just don't be
because
playing
was
with
he on a
toys,
towel?
He was on a towel, but that everything else was fully exposed. Like,
Okay, see, well, that's kind of half and half.
What?
See,
Oh,
no. What I would think
Wow.
what I think would be a man code violation if he was sitting with his bare ass on the tile of the steam room.
so
Like,
you're okay
there's no
with
towel.
him. So you're okay with him being spread eagle?
No, because I definitely wouldn't go in there if there's a guy doing that. No, it is a man code violation.
What if you can't see him till after the steam stops?
Well, that's the problem. See, like I've seen guys. I've been in the steam room, and I'm sure people that are listening to this have done the same thing. You're in the steam room, and it's so steamy in there, you can't see anybody. Okay,
Yeah, then
and
after it
then
stops,
all
you
of
go,
a sudden it
"Oh, hey,
stops,
Bob."
and then all of a sudden you see the guy over there, like three people over there, butt naked. Hey, Bill, what you doing? Hey, can you give me a little water? And you're like, oh my God, I got to get out. I gotta get man code violations. Wow.
Tim, you got anything, or should we go rapid fire?
We got to go rapid fire.
Let's go
'cause,
rapid fire, John. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we are recording this podcast for your enjoyment on all the podcast forums and on YouTube during the Elite Eight of the NCAA tournament. It is a Tuesday evening, and Gonzaga is blowing out USC. It's 83-64, about to go
Surprise.
final. No surprise, Gonzaga going for the first undefeated season since Bobby Knight's Indiana Hoosiers way back in 1976 with Kent Benson in that group. So, Stacey, I know your Sooners bowed out relatively early. Who you got in this now?
First of all, I didn't go to Oklahoma.
You mentioned that last
I
week.
know. I'm saying it again. I'm Gonzaga. We're going to the Final Four right now.
Oh, he's with Gonzaga.
Go Zags. We're going to the Final Four right now. Okay.
Yeah, they're celebrating right now.
Yes, we're celebrating. I'm
85-66
celebrating with them.
Is the final.
Way to go, Zags! We're number one, baby.
Are you going to start dancing?
No, I'm not dancing. I'm
Okay.
not Chuck Swirsky. Anyway, look at it. We're so excited. This is our first trip or our second trip. I don't know. Okay, it's our
Bringing
second trip.
headbands back.
Second
school.
trip.
So Baylor plays SC.
Baylor plays
Houston.
Houston.
in
Okay.
one of the semifinals.
UCLA plays Michigan.
And Gonzaga is going to get the winner of Michigan, UCLA. And John's not the only guy who can bring props. I got my Michigan basketball.
There we go.
Let's see his props.
Yeah.
Nicely played.
Nicely
There you go.
played.
Nicely
My
played.
son
Yeah.
Eric, a proud graduate of the University of Michigan, so he'll be rooting with all his buddies. They're gathered at a Michigan bar somewhere in Chicagoland watching Michigan UCLA, which is going to tip off in just a few minutes.
What?
But Stacey, obviously you play for the national title.
Yes.
And that was a whole different thing now with full crowds and all the excitement of March Madness. Now you have limited seating at all these different venues in the Indianapolis area. It's, the kids are going to relish winning a title, whoever is able to cut down the nets. But from your experience, it had to be almost larger than life, the NCAA tournament and all the hoopla surrounding it.
I mean, growing up as a little kid, watching the Final Fours on television, seeing teams like North Carolina, Georgetown, Houston, UCLA, that was a dream of mine to get to the Final Four. It was always in big venues, the Kingdome, the Superdome, and you see 40,000 people. And I always thought it would be really cool to play in that kind of environment, And so when my team got to the Final Four, I got kind of shafted. We had one of the best teams in college basketball that year. We finished 36-4. And so our final four game, the national championship game, was in Kansas City.
So it's almost a home game.
And Kansas City's, we were just there weeks before because that's our conference tournament. So it didn't feel like a national championship game to me. It just felt like, just a conference championship. But, of course, and then we're playing Kansas in the final, so it definitely felt like a Big 8 championship game. And, to get that far and to lose, man, Mark, you just know how to bring up bad
How many times did you guys play Kansas during the season?
3 times. I think we beat them 3 times.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
That's
tough. It's tough.
makes it
You
worse.
bet them
yeah.
3 times during the season and
Yeah.
you lost to them.
Yeah, we lost to them.
Wow.
And you know what? I mean, at the end of the day, it's tough to beat a team 3 times.
Sure.
But they played a great game. They had guys in order to win, to be at that level, to win the championship. You need others to step up. When your star players are going to show up, but you need other guys. See, Danny Manning always had great games against us, but we shut down everybody else. No one else scored on us. But in that particular game, they had a walk-on the football team. They had 10 points. They had guys.
Yeah.
They had guys that weren't even on the scouting report kill us. And that really hurt us because we did not, figure that they would be that big of an impact. And that's what makes, college basketball so good because, the best team doesn't always win. It's a one game and you're out.
Well, our guy Kendall Gill had the same experience the next year. They went to the Final Four. They beat Michigan twice during the regular season, beat them pretty easily. And then, they had some great players on that team, but, there was, I know Kendall told me, I think it was Terry Mills that had shot late and is like, he didn't hit anything the whole year against us. But that's the thing about the one and done is why people really love the tournament because you see sometimes these crazy upsets. Oral Roberts beat Ohio State, almost got to the Elite Eight.
Well, I will say this, the having COVID has really kind of, turned everything upside down. Just like in the NBA, the bubble, you had certain teams that played well in the bubble, that were better than the teams that were in. If you played a regular playoff series, I don't see Milwaukee losing to Miami in a 7-game series. I don't see that. And it's the same thing here in the bubble. You're seeing teams that are, that are not even supposed to be there. Teams that would probably lose in the first round, not even get to the second weekend. Oral Roberts, UCLA, who's a 11 seed. If things were normal, you may not see those teams. It's made it interesting. I didn't even do a pool this year. This is the first time I didn't do a bracket. And, because it was just so unpredictable because of COVID. You don't know if a team like Oregon, or it was somebody got that, in the conference tournament, they had to, I know Kansas got pulled out, Duke got pulled out in their conference tournament. So I figured, well, if that's going to happen in the conference tournament, it's going to happen in the NCAA tournament. I think you saw VCU, I think.
VCU, yeah.
So, it was really hard to pick do brackets this year because of that.
Just bet Gonzaga on the money line, you'll be doing pretty well. John, how about hit the rifles one more time for us. The Major League Baseball season starts on Thursday, opening day, and the Cubs were involved in talks to try to extend contracts to some of their core players, Anthony Rizzo, Javier Baez, Chris Bryant, and as we're taping right now on Tuesday evening, none of them have gotten done, and they lowballed Anthony Rizzo. They offered him 5 years, $70 million, which is a lot of money for anybody, but when you compare it to other players of his caliber in Major League Baseball and all he's done for the city of Chicago with his work at Lurie Children's Hospital and everything else, wow, they lowballed him, and I was really surprised at that.
Well, I tell you what, there's going to be a lot of teams out there that will go out there and that will want him, that will offer him the money that he wants. And, you're not going to get the hometown discount. You're just not.
No, not anymore.
These kids came up from the minor leagues. They paid their dues. They won a World Series. They're star players in the city. They do a lot for the community. They want to get paid, and it's going to be tough to tell these guys to say, hey, look, you give me the home team discount. It's not going to work. That's not working anymore.
And we wouldn't be shocked to see Chris Bryant traded before the deadline coming up this summer.
His name comes up more than any of them.
It just seems like they're not going to invest money in him.
Yeah, they don't want to invest money in him. And to me, I think it's a shame because he's such a versatile guy. You can pretty much play him anywhere. He's a natural third baseman, but they play him in the outfield sometimes. So it's like, when you get that type of versatility, I know he hasn't hit the ball like he normally hits the ball, but he's still a threat.
Yeah, I got news for you guys. They're going to be trading. They're going to be big time sellers. Absolutely. It's all setting up that way.
It doesn't seem like the Ricketts family wants to reinvest. They want to cut their losses from all the things that happened during the pandemic. And Southside Susie, I guess, has a story about the White Sox and her dad and their displeasure with Tony La Russa over time.
I'll set it up. We were watching the game, and La Russa is spring training meaningless, and he comes out to make a pitching change. They're up 6-2. And I thought of Southside and what she used to talk about her dad. And
Stacey's got his Sox cap on, so does Susie.
Stacey and I disagree. I think he's old.
And I told you in our production meeting.
He's old.
I told you in our production meeting, just because there's snow on the mountaintop doesn't mean there's not a fire in the furnace.
Yeah. I think, if there's one thing that's clear by his age, he's on a short leash. So.
And just because you're old, Susan,
we've got that going.
Doesn't mean you're cold.
Okay. All right.
Sriracha.
No, he has a long history of. I have a long history of PTSD with him and some of the crazy calls he made when he used to. My father, he used to just make my dad nuts, and when we were, watching that game and he changed the pitcher in the ninth, I could just hear my dad from the grave going, God damn it! And I thought, it's going to be a long season.
Yeah, that's why those games sometimes drag on past 4 hours, all those pitching changes. And
Leave Tony alone.
I'm not saying
Leave Tony alone.
I'm not saying Tony's old, but they asked him about the Eloy Jimenez injury, and he goes, "What team is he on?"
No, he didn't.
No,
I was getting ready to say.
Shoot the rifles.
That's how rumors get started right there.
And now he's coming after Schnauzer.
Yeah, line up the door.
Line up.
The door's locked. You can't get in.
Hey, Tony
you can't
LaRusso
get in
will
at the
punch you.
Nautilus
Don't
Medical
sleep.
Group.
Tony LaRusso will punch you, Mark
Well,
Janowski.
Stacey, maybe we can,
Throw a punch.
in Tony's honor, can we flatten the rim of our hat?
Yeah.
You and I for the camp.
I can't do it.
All right.
That's too nuts.
So the White Sox starting the season with high expectations. As we mentioned, it all starts on Thursday. We'll have a lot of fun talking baseball throughout the spring and summer. Coming up next, we take it on the down low with a special treat. Keep it tuned and give me the hot sauce.
The down low. I like to go down low.
That wasn't me.
That was whispers. Whispers.
Oh, my God.
Hey, before we wrap up the show, we want to try something a little bit different here on episode 22 of Gimme the Hot Sauce. First of all, once again, we want to thank our great sponsors at Bubble Up, and we're going to try something a little bit different. We're going to bring in one of our most loyal listeners. Johnny likes to call him Big Red from Little Shoot. This is a Rick Bruck, who's worked in the industry for a long time. Matter of fact, as we speak, he's setting up for the Milwaukee Brewers home opener at what used to be called Miller Park, now American Family Park. And so, Rick, we appreciate you listening. What do you like best? Do you like the man code violation? Do you like the stinger? I mean, what do you like to hear?
Yeah. You guys kill me. I hope you're good friends because the way you go at each other. I was listening in my car the other day, driving down, listening to 21, and I'm telling you, I had soda. I blew it out of my nose. I was laughing so hard. It was so awesome. You guys are so good together.
You know how they say that you can't give yourself a nickname? Well, your longtime buddy John Walsh did that. You were talking about his little growth underneath his lip.
It looked like dirt.
Yeah, and he decided he labeled himself the Stinger. He's the Stinger now, and I think it's going to stick probably for the rest of his life.
Yes,
what do you think of that?
Yeah, good for John.
That's usually our reaction to a lot of the stuff he comes up with.
So, Rick,
the one thing that I really, really like about the show is you guys bring up some really interesting topics, but the one is like that astronaut diaper thing.
We're trying to get him on for a sponsor.
You guys. Wait a minute. Okay. Next time, I really would like to know where you guys get those because I'm 65, I'm older, and I've got some problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Rick, there's nothing wrong with that, man. Hey, that's the first sign right there of admitting you have a problem.
We're wearing them now.
Hey, John has a pair on now. They're thong versions.
No, that's just the stinger.
Man code violation.
Stinger. The thong diapers.
Hey, Rick, you're joining the show, which is traditionally called On the Down Low. Since you've had a chance to work with Stinger over the years, you got a great On the Down Low story about maybe John losing his cool or something,
beating somebody up
during a live broadcast,
choking somebody.
I mean, feel free to to go any direction you want with this.
You know, I've known John for a while. We were in New York together a few years back. We had a friend of ours, mutual friend of ours, get married, and we were having some adult beverages, having a really, really good time. And all of a sudden, from behind me, this man grabs me around my neck and starts dragging me around the place. And I'm like, who is this guy? It's my good friend, John Walsh. And we call that, what do we call that, John?
we call that the Ranger chokehold.
That's the Ranger chokehold.
Not my
Ranger chokehold.
Tim, that was your favorite move, wasn't it, in your MMA days?
Oh, yeah. I love the rear naked choke.
Oh. And he likes it more when you're naked. Freak.
That's literally what it's called.
I forgot that part. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Hey, you got a
So that's a
question?
good story about John. We've been friends for years. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he is.
You got a question
The
for
check's in the
Stacey
mail.
or anybody else with the show? Susie's here too.
Stacey, I'm telling you, man, I love all the years of nicknames that you've come up with, guys, I really, really love that about how you just pop a guy's, he scores, he does something great, and you come up with a term or anything for him. You know, the stuff that you had for Jimmy Butler, you know, the stuff that you had for a lot of those old Bulls players. That's the only reason why I would listen to it, because I would listen to you kill those guys. Where do you come up with this stuff?
You know what, Rick? It's a gift.
You can tell it's late in the show.
It's a gift, Rick. You know, I can't even explain, man. Some people are blessed with abilities, and I was one of those people.
And it's not just pro players. It's it goes way deeper than that.
Yeah, it goes way deeper there, Rick. What he's trying to say is I've been giving people nicknames since the turn of time. In our health club pickup games, I give everybody a nickname.
The bagger at the grocery store, he's got a nickname for him.
Well, it's a great show, man. I listen to it. I can't help but laugh. I know that you guys are having a great time doing it. And the guests that you've had on, the BJ Armstrong episode was great. The Grant brothers was a killer episode. The guy that came in and did all the voices, the Scottish guy, man,
our guy Al Foran.
Al Foran.
Yeah.
Oh man, you guys do such a great job. So thanks for letting me come on and just tell you what I think. It's really a great show.
You know what?
I hope you take it the next step.
You know what? You're a friend of the program. You're more than welcome to come on. I mean, John gave us a little insight about you before you came on. He said, you know, you're a cross between Santa Claus and Colonel Sanders. And so I didn't believe him. I didn't believe him, Rick. Rick, I didn't believe him. And then I see you.
The magic.
I see you, Rick. Rick, you do got a little Colonel Sanders going on
Do you have
on
a nickname?
Zoom.
Do you have a nickname for him, Stacey?
No, I don't have a nickname for Rick. I'm just saying because the Stinger.
He wants a bucket of chicken. That's what he wants.
Yeah, I want some free chicken. But Stinger said, hey, you know, Rick's my boy. I've been knowing him for years. He's gonna look like, you know, Santa Claus and Colonel Sanders, half and half, a mix.
The Gordon Fisherman.
And Gordon Fisherman, terrible. No, hey, don't listen to
I
Tim
can't go with
Whispers.
salty seaman, okay?
Oh, we just lost another sponsor. Thanks to Timmy Whispers. Salty Seaman. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think Rick's all set in the nickname department with Big Red from Little Shoot. So,
Yeah.
Big Red, thanks for joining us. Thanks for putting up with the Stinger all these years, and keep listening to Give Me the Hot Sauce. We appreciate it.
Right on.
Take
We're going to
care,
send
Rick.
you a gift. We're going to send you a gift.
Yeah, we send you a little something to remember.
I don't know what it
us
is.
by.
We don't have a lot, but we're going to send it to you.
Hey, before we get out of here and wrap up episode 22, John's got one more story to tell, and this is a doozy. We're going to put this on the bubble up roll so you can see some of the background on the Love 22 guy.
Oh, my God.
Well, you know, once
I'm going to
again,
have to step out.
you guys.
I'm very uncomfortable right now. I'm going to leave.
Unfortunately, you guys didn't grow up in the ocean state like I did, and it's surrounded by beaches, so you spend a lot of time.
Molesters.
Now you're in Wisconsin. What's that?
Surrounded by molesters. Okay.
So I mean,
Land of Ed Gein.
yeah, well, so
Hey, little boy, you want
when
some
I
candy?
was a young,
you like
when you're a
clowns?
young kid, you make impressions. The big clams, and this guy
Clams.
would be walking the beaches like Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
He was
Dressed as Uncle Sam.
Yes,
In the
Stacey.
full uniform?
Yeah, there's a photo of him much
check
in
the bubble up roll.
in,
yeah.
in Key West,
That's
much
not
later
weird.
in life. But he would
That's the wanted poster. That's not really
And he
a
would
picture.
be-
It's a wanted poster.
he would write on the sand and just down the beach, and he'd write "Love 22" and he'd give out $22 bills. And I know we're on episode 22, and I always think about that for some
You
reason.
think about him all the time, don't you?
Was that traumatic?
He always thinks about it.
PTSD. I always think about it.
Hey, the guy spent his whole life doing that. He traveled the world. It says,
He obviously made a big impression on you.
He's still blocking out that
my God.
he was 26.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
"Yeah,
I'm
you know,
just
it's
gonna say.
innocent,
I'm just gonna say.
innocent, you know."
Uncle Sam wants you.
I just want to say, ladies and gentlemen, America, as you listen to this story, I know you're about as creeped out as I am hearing this story about some man going around giving kids handshakes and little cards. And
He
saying,
wasn't
"Love,
handshaking.
Live 22.
He was writing "Love 22."
Hey,
but we never. As a little kid, I
Love
didn't know what that
22.
meant.
What does that mean?
I don't know. That was
And
his.
you still don't know.
No, he. You know what? I found out. I read the story. He went to URI, and his the frat he lived on was 22 something road. So that 22 always sort of stayed with him for the rest of his life, and that's what he became, the Love 22 guy.
Well, sometimes you put the pieces together. That's how the tub in the basement started.
Is Mr. Love 22 still with us?
No, he passed. I think he was in a home in Westerly. he was like 80 something years old. That article came out when he was like late. But I just like the fact that the guy just lived a life on his own terms and traveled the world and, had some fun with it. And, hey.
Yeah.
So if you want to read more about Mr. Love 22,
There's not much.
We'll post the link on the Bubble Up roll, and if you do want to read more about it, we suggest you seek professional help.
If anybody comes out of the woodwork and wants to tell a story about this, you're more than welcome. We're willing to help and listen.
Or self-report.
Yeah, self-report. Because John obviously
King's good at that.
John obviously needs to report something. That's why we're having this therapeutic message about Love 21.
Intervention next week.
Yeah.
I'm hitting the music.
Yeah, I still can't believe you're talking about. I always think about it.
Creepy.
Uncle Sam wants you.
I always think about him.
Want to thank all of our viewers on YouTube. You can watch all the fun every week on Give Me the Hot Sauce. This was episode 22 in honor of Mr. Love 22. Thank you so much for listening and viewing. We'll be back with a brand new show, and who knows what kind of stories we'll have next week. Stacey, take us out of here.
Drive home safely, Love 22.
Oh, man.